I appreciate this hearing and appreciate the witnesses being here. And like my other colleagues have said, the good work that you've done, historic work that you've done in a very difficult period of time, but in an amazingly short period of time as well. I want to especially welcome Mr. Young here. As you know, Pfizer's largest manufacturing facility is located in Kalamazoo, Michigan, just 40 miles down I-94 from my district. And so we appreciate the fact of seeing what work has been done there. And I think Michiganders are summarily proud of what they see when they see the Pfizer trucks and the life-saving pharmaceuticals going down the road to assist us and fill the needs not only of Michigan, but those of the rest of the nation. When President Biden visited the Kalamazoo facility last week, he called it a miracle of manufacturing. And I guess that's a point that I can quickly jump in and say I agree with the president on. Many of my colleagues have already acknowledged this, but it bears reiterating. Operation Warp Speed was an unprecedented success. In fact, NIH Director Dr. Francis Collins recently called the success of OWS breathtaking. In what typically takes about 10 years or longer to go from the exploratory stage to a large-scale manufacturing and FDA review and licensure, the Trump administration achieved in less than 11 months. Sadly, however, all these efforts will be for naught if we cannot get the vaccine into the arms of people who need it and want it. In Michigan, our state government has had serious problems. Last week, Beaumont, one of the state's largest health systems, announced the cancellation of nearly 2,000 seconds, citing unexpected reduction in the Pfizer vaccine allocation from the state. I note that was allocation from the state. Our governor has said that the problem is demand, which exceeds supply. And while demand is certainly high, we're seeing certain areas of the state receive larger vaccine supplies per capita than others. As a result, the city of Detroit is now vaccinating food service, restaurant, grocery workers, regardless of age. And they certainly need it. But the residents in other parts of the state, including my district, are left wondering when it will be their turn. Orrin and Saline, Michigan, up near the University of Michigan, whose mother is 90 years old and in need of a hip replacement, has been delaying treatment until she receives the vaccine. Carol in Temperance, Michigan, wrote me to say she and her husband are 81 years. They have been on a wait list for weeks and were notified that their local grocery store pharmacy is now out of doses. She and many of my constituents have instead been left to go through Ohio and Indiana health systems. Stephen from Chelsea, Michigan, receives daily chemo treatments for leukemia, but said he has been able to get on a waiting list for the vaccine. And Mark, who is 70, said he can't get the vaccine, yet his 35-year-old son in Texas just got his second dose. And so, Mr. Young, my constituents and I are trying to better understand the process from when the doses leave your facilities to when they are received by local health departments. In a rough estimate, how many vaccine doses is Pfizer capable of shipping out on any given day, and how specifically are those doses distributed?
So thank you for the question. I couldn't agree more that what is incredibly important is that, vaccine doses are made available to everyone who needs them. And so, as I mentioned in my testimony, we're very focused on making more doses more quickly. What we are able to currently supply is on average at the beginning of February, around about 5 million doses per week. We anticipate that that will get up to 13 million doses a week by the end of March. And what we do is to supply an 8-week forward-looking forecast of that weekly production to the federal government. The federal government, in turn, then tells states what is available. States then order it. We supply the vaccine doses to the points of use as directed by the US government. So we work closely with the federal government, but we also look to work closely with the states to ensure that they also have accurate information and support.
But then if the state is responsible for ordering it from the supply that you've been instructed by the federal government, they order it. How does it get to the places where they need to be? Do they tell you where it's to be sent?
Yes, exactly. The federal government literally tells us, which centre we should deliver how many vaccine doses to, and that's something that we thus far have been able to perform very accurately. 99.9% reliability of delivery of the number of doses to the centre as directed by the US government.
That gives needed information. Thank you. I yield back.